To be honest, the doctors didn't either. Let's just be honest. My story is different because the doctors didn't know what was wrong. And again, testing for lupus is not something that they do or really want to do because of the cost of the.
When tax time comes and you don't know what to do, SBS Tax Services is here to guide you through. From refunds to filings, we keep it stress-free. Your trusted team for taxes, where you're meant to be. We get it done right. SBS Tax Services, we get it done right. Maximizing refunds, keeping your future bright. Fast, friendly, reliable every single day. SBS Tax Services, we're with you all the way.
And welcome to In the Spotlight with Lady T. I am so excited about being back on the air. I am so excited that I'm coming to you via podcast, via Spotify, via Facebook, all the avenues. Now, listen, it's been a while since I've been in the spotlight. Y'all know that life has lifed, okay? Y'all that know it's nothing new. It's Lady in the Spotlight with Lady T. You guys remember my days on Am I Worth the Time with Pastor Bell and Lady Bell and Sabrina. And then, of course, last couple of years, I started out on my own within the Spotlight with Lady T. And of course, life happened. Cancer came back. Then I was also diagnosed with lupus. Pretty much been homebound for the last 3.5 years, but that still has not stopped your girl. I'm still here, and I've been doing, as I say, business from the bed. Okay, I'm still running strong. I still believe in financial literacy. Tax firm, part of a great tax firm called SBS Taxes. Great to be a part of that. Tax Pros. Of course, I still have In the Spotlight with Lady T, which is back. Do you hear me? I'm coming back. The comeback is what you need to watch. You know how life takes its turns. I still am honored to be a part of, T&J Family Funeral Home. I'm still rolling and rolling over 27 years of business with Alpha Omega Financial Consultants, still running strong. Matter of fact, that's the livelihood. And then, of course, my consulting firm, my consulting business, my charting, my nurses medical field. But I felt like it was time for me to get back in the spotlight with Lady T. So let me tell you a couple of things that I have that I'm getting ready to do. Most of you are so aware of my passion for financial literacy in the Black community. I will be bringing on all sorts of wonderful guests onto my podcast as usual. I want to bring on the best of the best to come and talk about the things that we are facing with this new legislation, with the new laws, with the new tax laws, with just understanding the importance of living according to your means instead of living above and beyond what you truly can afford. Because as we know, it is their desire to keep us in debt so that we have no power. But if you understand the power of the black dollar, I mean, we spend more money than any other race, and yet our money doesn't make the type of money that other communities make because we don't know how to properly use it. We don't know how to properly invest it. We don't know how to sow seeds in fertile ground. We live by what we see and what we want versus what we can afford. So, my platform is to bring education, to bring literacy, to bring awareness. I want to have people, I'm going to have some great tax pros that's going to come in here and talk about the new tax laws, the tax brackets, how it affect us, because it's going to affect us this year. A lot of people, I'm just going to give you a couple of things that are important to me, and that's understanding your taxes, because so many of us, that's the one thing we look for each year, and that's what we use to buy our cars, to buy our homes, even to buy things that we want that we weren't able to afford. But is that what we need to do with those dollars? Is that proper planning and budgeting for the year ahead? Because now everybody wants to go in and file, I'll head a household, I'm head of household. No, 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 no. Not this year. You are not head of household unless you make over $50,000 and you have a dependent. Otherwise, you will be filing single. Yeah, you won't be allowed to file head of household anymore. So that extra cushion that so many people are going to rely on is not going to be there. They're looking at different tax brackets now. Your dependents, people need to go back and evaluate what deductions you have in your W-2s and W-4s. Those are important. 1099 people who don't file taxes because they feel like they're gonna owe. You better file, because they're gonna go back 5 years on you. We want to talk about, in the Black community and just in the communities altogether, the importance of understanding your dollar. Understanding the difference between your gross income and your net income. A lot of people lease cars, purchase homes off of gross. But guess what? Gross income is not what you receive. You receive a net income after they take taxes out, Social Security out, your deductions for your insurance out. So they have you signing contracts for a gross income that is really not your income. So that's the first loophole. The next thing that I want to be able to talk to you about is that our dollars are power. Okay. Financial literacy is important because it's a part of empowering us. We want to be able to give tithes in the church, and above tithes, we want to be able to give offerings, and above offerings, sometimes you want to be able to be a blessing to that man or woman of God. You want to be able to be a blessing to the outreach ministries in your church, but a lot of times we are strapped financially because we're not budgeting our income correctly based on what you bring through the door, not based on your hourly rate or your gross. That's where we make a lot of mistakes. So, empowerment, understanding financial concepts, empowers individuals like us to make informed decisions about spending. You want to know ahead of time, can I afford this? Affording it is not the same as being able to maintain it, because I can afford a car today. If I got $5,000 in my hand and I say I'm going to go to Frank Kent or even Clay Cooley or wherever you go, CarMax, Drive Time, uh Mercedes, wherever you go, you got $5,000 in your hand and you could give it to them. They're going to take your $5,000. They're going to write up a contract. The question is, when you leave and give them that $5,000, can you now maintain it? Can you afford it? So we want to, my platform wants to, I want to bring empowerment to the spending habits of our community, saving and investments, borrowing, and to learn the knowledge that allows people to take control over their finances and their future rather than relying on others. I want to help us understand the dollars. I want to help us not just understand financial wealth, but health wealth as well. Because how many of you know that being healthy is a form of wealth? Let me tell you, being homebound for the last 2.5 years, dealing with the cancer coming back, dealing with lupus, having IV infusion, having radiation has taken a toll on my household, our financial standings, and even on our marriage. Because when someone has to take up the slack from someone else due to health issues, if you're not careful, that can bring pressure into your relationship, married, engaged, courting. So that's something else that I want to bring to the forefront. I'm going to have some great nurses and even a couple of physicians. I'm going to get with some herbalists who specialize in holistic medication, because this time when the cancer came back prior to my two surgeries, I had already made up in my mind that I would not do chemo if they came back and told me that I would have to do it again. I had made up in my mind that I would not. And so God honored my prayer by my state. I was in stage two of when the cancer came back, so I was able to get it removed and just do the 6 weeks of radiation. Now I'm targeting on the B blood cells to help me get this lupus. Oh my God! I mean, I thought having cancer was something to deal with, but this lupus, when I tell you, it is a ugly, ugly disease, and there's not a day go by that something doesn't hurt. The treatments for it is very, very hard on the body. So I want to bring in some survivors from both campus, and I want to bring awareness to about lupus into our community, because it attacks the majority of its kind is black people, black women. Then number two would be your Hispanics. And then three is your Asians. But lupus attacks more black women than any other disease combined. It's a silent killer. It's a disease that we don't really talk about. So I am a part of the Lone Star State chapter, and I am one of the ones that is going to be a part in spearheading the knowledge of lupus and what it does and the cost. So many people are not diagnosed. I truly believe up until this day that my mom and my sister, when they passed, that they were undiagnosed, but they had lupus. I believe it because our symptoms are the same. What I watched them being their caregiver, being a nurse, what I watched them go through is what I see myself going through today. So I am an advocate. Sat on my first panel last Sunday. I came to church, lupus out, lupus warrior out from head to toe. And I want to shout outs to Miss Queen Creations for creating my outfit, and my seamstress, Miss Christy. So it seems um, I gave them a vision, and they both together put that vision together. And it was just amazing. As I learned the disease myself, been in the medical field 27 years, and lupus was an unknown disease to me. Like, I had no idea what it was or what it does. But like I said, it affects every part of your body, your eyes, your teeth. I mean, to this day, I look at myself sometimes, and I cry, and then sometimes I just feel like fighting, which I've been fighting all my life anyway. But it's gotten to the point where I actually have medicated toothpaste because it affects your teeth, it affects your eyes, all of your organs, your muscles. There's not nothing on the body that lupus does not affect. So
I
I
have a
want
question.
go ahead.
Everybody, this is your boy Taz. I'm the producer, but I got to get into this because she gonna educate me. Two things. First thing is on the business side. Since COVID, a lot of individuals decided that they wanted to start their own business,
Right.
but they don't know the importance, or probably don't understand the importance in starting your own business the right way with the tax ID and being able to file your taxes when that time comes. Why is it important, even if it's a home based business? Let's just say that was started around COVID. Why is it important to make sure that that business, being as big or as small as it is, should be able to file taxes?
It's important because what happens is you're not legitimately a business. What you're doing is you are funding your craft, or your passion. You are not considered a legal business if you have not, one, you don't have an EIN and an SBA, which is an assumed name certificate. You have to go down to the tax controller's office, name your business, file your EIN because you're going to take in revenue. A lot of people say, well, I use Cash App, I use Zelle, so I'm not worried about,
Right.
setting up my business correctly. I'm not worried about, filing with the state properly. Well, eventually, if you guys are not aware, please be aware that it's already supposed to have happened, but it has been delayed. Now that Zelle and both Cash App are going to start doing what they call a 1099K for anyone that takes in over $10,000 a year. So, getting away with not filing your taxes, the government is catching up to the sideline businesses, the people that do business underneath the table because they may be getting disability or social security, or they don't want the overhead. Well, let me let you know, Cash App and Zelle and all the other revenues such as Vimeo, all of those are now going to be issuing out 1099Ks. Now, don't be surprised if you get one this year, because these are some of the things that they are doing behind the scenes that you don't know about. So, just because you can get away with not doing something does not mean do it to not to get away with it,
Yeah.
because eventually it's going to come back on you. The other reason is that if you and I are doing business and I spend over $500 with you for your services, and you decide not to complete the service, or the service was incomplete, I wasn't satisfied, I can actually now take you to court for $500, because anything over 500 can also be considered theft of services, also can be considered a felony because it's over $500. So if you're running a business through your phone and it's not filed properly, you're not protected. You're not protected for these erroneous judgments. You're not protected from these erroneous filings, which to you may seem tedious. Who gonna take me to court for $500? They gonna spend $500 taking me to court. Well, some people are very adamant about their dollars, especially their
Yeah.
hard earned dollars. So they feel like it's worth it to get their money back for a service that you didn't provide. You didn't provide fully. You didn't provide properly. There's a lot of scams going on with the Cash Apps and the Zales. So if you notice, you really can't even put a new contact into any of those venues without signing an agreement that you realize that. And I'm gonna give y'all a trick. Anytime you're Cash Apping or Zelle and it asks you, is this friends, family, or business? Always check business. Those are the only things that will allow you to get a refund or a part of your money back if that person welches on that service or that item. Do not put people in your Cash App or Zelle as friends and family if you're considering yourself a business, because that leaves you open for that. So, the other part of the answer to your question is, if you started a business after COVID, or you thinking about starting a business now, because a lot of people are getting laid off, a lot of governmental jobs are on the line, more are coming with the new tax laws, then I would suggest you get with someone and do it the right way. Longevity means more than doing it quickly for right now. If you start out that way, okay, but longevity, no. You should plan and you should budget and you should aspire to be the best that you can be. A lot of people say I got a business because I got a business card, I got a website. Okay, who don't have a website? Who don't have a business card, whether it's digital or paper or glossy print? Who cannot create that? But can you create a service that can get you a rating on the Better Business Bureau? I have an A minus rating as we speak. But things like that are important. I feel like being a legitimate business, word of mouth, I don't do a lot of advertising. I've been in business for 27 years. My clients have followed me. They literally are how I make it when I can't work on the floor as a nurse. I have people in place that rely on my services, and so there's been some seasons where I couldn't work. And my business carried me. You know, my W 2 didn't carry me,
Yeah.
but my business carried me because, you know, when you run out of PTO, you have FM. I got FMLA all day, you know, but FMLA don't pay you. You know, you got short term, long term. I've been home for 2.5 years. All of that's gone.
Yeah.
You know, I chart from home now, but what has sustained me and my family is my business. So for me, there's no other way than to do it the legitimate way.
The benefits of having a legitimate business with a tax ID number and all this, the doing business as for minorities. Talk about that.
It is so important because let's just be honest, let's just keep it real. Everybody always says that, you know, we do it. I can't even say this on the podcast, but we do black stuff. You know, we want to take the shortcut. We want to, you know, go around doing things the right way. And the benefit of doing it the right way, again, like I will say, is longevity. When you can depend on that business, when you can't depend on anything else, doing it the shortcut way is it's going to get you a crowd. And I tell people all the time, it's certain clients I don't want. I just don't want to deal with because everything will want to be discounted. Everything will want to be half price. Everybody want to hook up. When you don't have a legitimate business, you have to succumb to the audience that you are attracting. I don't want to just deal with our community. I am known a lot of the business partners that I've been in business with for over 15 years, Carly Howard and a lot of those Karen and Engelman and a lot of those, they are not our cousins. And I've learned a lot from both sides, but I want to be able to sit in any arena. I want to be able to create my own table and not have to wait for a seat at somebody's table. And that's the difference between having a legitimate business and a side hustle. We all got a side hustle, and sometimes we have to uh, succumb to that side hustle. But at the end of the day, those methods are short term, they're not longevity. If you want a business that's going to be longevity, that's going to return and have a return for you, then it's best to structure it. Get with somebody. Everybody, for me, I don't. If people ask me, well, how much do you charge to restore my credit? How much do you charge to help set me up? I look at the individual because everybody is not in the same state financially, mentally, or educationally. I want to listen to my clients to understand what is their need. And then once we talk about their need, which is separate, and people get mixed up all the time, what is your goal? People do not sit down and talk about what is my goal with my money? What is my long term goal with my money? What is my long term goal with my business? I mean, the tax industry is saturated. It's just like churches. It's a tax firm on every corner, probably two. You know, it's credit restoration because that's something that we need because the world is going to checks and balances, which are mainly credit. We were never taught about credit, so we don't think that credit is an issue until we need it, and then you can't. So, for example, I tell people all the time with the foreclosure rate in the community for Black people is highest. You know, just like lupus is highest, just like um, foreclosure is the we're the primary one that get foreclosed on. The next thing is tax liens because we don't understand. Mama, grandmama, Uncle Bobby, Aunt Linda, Uncle Bobo left the grandchildren property. With our family, we just went through that where someone tried to take my grandmother's home because she paid 1 year of taxes on that house and was able to attempt to stake claim to it. Meanwhile, our cousin that actually lives there had paid all this time that grandma has been gone. One payment allowed her to have to take us to court, our family, versus her, not a family member, no blood related, but by marriage, to have to go through that just because of her paying taxes once.
Wow.
So it's very important that we understand our tax laws, financial literacy, understanding your credit rating. And I tell people all the time, if you go to someone and they fix your credit in 30 days, in 90 days, you better run, or you better use it in those 90 days, because it's not typically credit restoration or repair. It is a quick fix. There's a lot of people that do it. They'll charge you anywhere from $350 to $1,500 to do what they call a credit sweep on your credit. That's not permanent. That is a temporary fix. When you can get with a real credit restoration company and repair your credit, and for me, you get my service for a year. So my reason for coming back, and I want to talk to the things that are affecting our community on Lady in the Spotlight with Lady T. Every single day, y'all, I am posting, I am sharing a missing child alert throughout the states, throughout the country. Arlington, I mean, every day it's 2 to 3 of our youth. I want to talk about it. What's on the mind of our youth? How are we covering our youth? What are we doing to secure their safety? Because they have so many influences today that are not us as parents. Back in the day, we relied on the wisdom of our grandparents and our mothers. We found it a privilege to be able to go to grandma's and sit in that living room on that plastic and have a conversation, to be able to tell her what's going on. We are so far away from our children that we don't understand the influences that are truly on them. So that's something else that I want to talk about. My passion has been with the youth for over 27 years. That's how I came into church. That's how I received my call. Is because my passion for youth, and I pray for them, and I say cover them every day. Some of the other topics that I want to talk about is the state of the black church. Come on, y'all. Some of the questions, some of the conversations that people don't want to talk about. Well, it's time that we talk about it. How does people see the church in 2025 going into 2026? Do people rely on the church the way we did back in the day? Do we have confidence in the church or the man or the woman of God? Do we believe that our souls are being shepherded properly? What do we really think about the church in today?
Um, in the black community, especially for black men, we it's easy for us sometimes, like whenever we feel sickness or we feel a pain, we just write it off as, oh, like the coaches would tell us in high school, just
Suck
walk
it
it
up.
off.
Yeah.
What were some of the signs that you felt whenever you discovered that lupus had hit your body?
And that's another topic that I'm going to be covering. Health of the black man, mentally and physically. That's something that I want to dive into. Being a nurse, coming off the floor, working from the ER, the signs, I there were so many, and having cancer and having diabetes, high blood pressure, COPD. I didn't know what it was, and to be honest, the doctors didn't either. Let's just be honest. My story is different because the doctors didn't know what was wrong. And again, testing for lupus is not something that they do or really want to do because of the cost of the testing, the type of testing. The symptoms vary. For black men, it's 10% of black men with lupus in the United States of America, 10%. But it's 73% black women that are plagued with lupus. And there's different types of lupus because I've heard it all. Oh, you can't be that sick. You're not sick. Oh, come on and go. Oh, you faking.
Yeah.
Oh, ain't nothing wrong with you. I've heard it all, and by some of the people that I love the most. And during this journey, I've been hurt the most. I can say this disease has probably alerted me to some people that I really loved because of the mishandling of me because of the disease really hurt me.
Yeah.
Some of the symptoms are no matter what you do, you can't sleep. The insomnia is out of this world.
Mm.
Your body is always in pain, whether it's nerve, whether it's muscle, whether it's inflammation. Something is always hurting 24/7. It's something that dry eyes, bruising. Wake up and you got a bruise and you like, what did I hit or who hit me? Um, the dry mouth, it the rapid weight loss, which you've seen on me. I sometimes I'm embarrassed because you can see my jawbone, my features, especially in my upper body. Outside of clothes, you say all the time how beautiful I am, but when I'm at home in the mirror, sometimes it's a battle because I see how my body looks when nobody else can see it. Um, Again, it's the dry mouth. It's your vision, blurred vision, your memory, brain fog, fatigue, loss of appetite. No matter, you can be hungry. I mean, I a foodie. Anybody that know me know I'm a foodie. I take 2, 3 bites and I can't even eat anymore. I'm disgusted. I can't. You know, you're drinking all the time. It doesn't sustain you. You become malnutrition, which that's the stage I'm in now, where I go get infusion 3 times a week. The expense of it is horrible. It's $130 with the copay, and I take three a week. You're not able to drive on the medication because you're on so much. The prednisone tears your body up.
Yes, it does.
Um, they wing you off, but then if you have severe chronic pain, they taper you on and off. So it's a roller coaster. The IV helps, which is to me been the best treatment so far, but it does a lot to your body. Um, for black men, it's the same. There's no difference in the symptoms. But I urge our black men to, if you're tired all the time, no matter how much rest you get, I would ask if you have someone in your family with lupus and you know it, tell them so that they can screen you at least. They may not do all of the tests, but they can at least screen you.
Is that a generational thing? Like, can it be something like a generational trait that's carried down?
It is. It is generational. It's genetic.
Yeah, genetic.
Yeah, it's nothing that you can catch. It's genetic. So for me, when my son was diagnosed and got down to 60 pounds and almost died 2 years ago, that's the first time I ever heard of lupus. And I had to really go back to him and apologize because all of his life, he's been a sleeper. But when he had the energy, he would do anything. He was very smart, straight A's in the band, but he would just want to sleep all the time. And so as a mom, I didn't know. I'm a nurse.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just lazy. It ain't nothing wrong with you. Get up. You going. I don't want to hear it. He wouldn't want to be around people. He wouldn't want to be around family. And I'm thinking to myself, what's wrong with you? And the doctors didn't diagnose him. He got diagnosed at 30 when his cancer, because lupus and cancer fight, and we all have cancer genetically in our family. So my mom died, had it, my sister, me, him. And that's when I found out about lupus. So when I started tracing the traits, because I wanted to know, I'm not gonna lie, first thing I said is, he got that from his dad and them. We ain't got no lupus. He must have got that from them because I ain't never heard of lupus. He made this up. And I remember him crying because I said he made it up. And I'll never forget that. And I've apologized and apologized of him. And I used to tease him and say, see, I got cursed because I said you made it up and now I got it.
Yeah.
And I was diagnosed February 4th of 2024. So he got it from me.
I think that's a good reason why the elders in the black families like should have those conversations with their kids, their grandkids, great grandkids. Uh, with everything that you're dealing with, though, mental health, talk about it.
I have a wonderful therapist. I'm in therapy because I'm going to be honest, it's a strain. When you're used to being the strong one, let's go back to the generation and the genetics. When I traced the symptoms, I pulled out my mom's death certificate, pulled out my sister's death certificate. I pulled out my grandmother Ora Mae's death certificate, and I pulled out my mom's and my sister's medical records because I was their nurse and their caregiver, so I had access to them. And when I got to looking over everything and my son's, because I was his caregiver and his nurse as well, so when I put all our stuff together, everything was mirror. literally a mirror, the signs, the symptoms, and the misdiagnosis. And I believe to this day, had my sister and my mom been diagnosed early, they would still be here today. I really do. And I know that the cancer and the lupus, because they both have a form of remission, but they also attract each other. So that's why we were going through so much at the same time with the multiple surgeries, because they had to get the cancer out first to even treat the lupus. So I'm just now beginning treatment for the lupus. So the conversations need to be had, and for black men and women, and mainly our children, we need, again, I go back to, we got to get back to talking to our children, because we think they're just laying in the bed on the phone because that's what they want to do. But we need to check with them. We need to see what they're dealing with, what they're going with. Take the phones away just so we can have a conversation. How often are you taking your children to the doctor? How often are you encouraging your husband or your wife to go to the doctor? What type of studies are you doing? What type of things are we passing off as, oh, it'll get better? Oh, I can handle it. Because what I've learned to do, since you talk about mental health, is I've learned to just deal with the fact that something is going to ache on me every day. So I'm just going to carry it the best that I can. Um, but I've had to learn to find a safe place to talk about it, because there's sometimes where I was tired. The things that I got mad at hearing my mom and my sister say when they were transitioning, I now find myself saying. But when I say I'm tired, I tell God I'm tired of the symptoms, not tired of living. And because that was a part of my mental, that I was angry with God, and I've carried the grief that you've heard Pastor pray over me on, and other preachers that don't even know me tell me in my ear. And the grief for me, I tell people all the time, is different, because it's different when you get a phone call that says your loved one has passed than when you're in the room with them, when you've taken care of them, when you've watched them literally take their last breath and they come take the tubes off and take the tubes out. And then you're walking with the same disease. People don't understand that, how mentally heavy that is. So when I say I've been mishandled, and I'm about to cry, I'm sorry, by the people that I love, because they don't understand that type of weight. And a lot of people say, well, you post for attention. No, I post for awareness. My lupus posts simply say lupus in color, because it attacks us the most. And that's my alarm going off now for my monitor, which is time for me to eat, but my monitor's low. But that's what hurts, because who wants to be sick? Who wants attention because they're sick? But because it kills more black women than cancer, diabetes, and high blood pressure all together, because it's a hidden killer that we have not focused on or made awareness in our community about. And so that's when Bishop would say, your greatest pain is your ministry. I ran from it. I've been here going on 9 years, and I've ran from that, because I'm like, if I got to go through all this type of pain to lead, I'm okay with just sitting in the background.
I'm gonna have to have you on the episode of my podcast to talk about this, because I'm in the whole interview frame of mind now. Uh, my last question, uh, and if it's too personal,
No,
just be
no,
like, I'm
I'm
not just be quiet, Taz.
good.
Seeing that you have had family with this same
Mhm,
sickness
mhm,
that didn't make it,
mhm, mhm,
have you ever experienced that survivor's remorse?
mhm. That's a lot of the that's a lot of the weight that I carry to this day, and where a lot of the hurt comes from, Tess, because I ask myself why.
Yeah.
I'm here, they're not. My son's here, they're not. And with the death of those, my grandfather, my mom, and my sister, they were my rock. My mom, and I always tell God that I never ever want anybody on this earth, nor him to ever think that I idolized any one of them, but I knew what they were to me and the value of who I am. And I have survivor's remorse. I deal with depression. I deal with anxiety. Being as sick as I have been has been a strain on my marriage, has been, I'm just being transparent, has been a financial strain, having to pull funds. And again, I thank God my business was set up legitimately because I'm having to pull funds from here and there to get the treatment. I've got in a couple of programs that have helped with some of the finances. I've been blessed to be taken off some of the medications that were over $750 a month. I used to be on 3 different injections, 14 different pills a day. A day. I am not on any of the injections that were 750, 350, and 225. I took Rapatha every 14 days. I took insulin every single day. And I took Benadryl every day. And the injections themselves per month ran me $2,100 with my copay. Now, mind you, I have 9 specialists that I go see every 90 days. I have 9. I have a rheumatologist. Let me start. PCP. I have a rheumatologist. I have a pulmonologist. I have an oncologist. I have a what's the other doctor? I have hematologist for my blood. I have to think of all of them. I have a cardiologist, number 6. I think it's 6 now because I'm off of the other 2. So 6 specialists that see me every 90 days. Um, that's better because I was going every 30 days. So those are my specialists, 6 specialists, because I forgot I got off some of those meds. 6 specialists. Then I got over here my PCP and my home health infusion care team. So I have 6 doctors I go to with copays, and then my care team and my PCP with copays. Yeah. And then I still have to be a support for my family because, mind you, my mom's not there, my sister's not there. My niece is experiencing heart issues um, at 40. Um, so it's genetic. And I thought it went off. So when you ask me, it is taking a toll. Because imagine getting married and have been in the hospital most of the marriage. Marriage got put off twice because I was in the hospital, and then finances affected, so we put it off again. Finally, get married, and within the first year of the marriage, I've been in the hospital 6 out of the 12 months. Just had surgery on September 27th. Had another surgery on October the 15th, and I'm sitting here today. And the thing about it that hurts the most mentally, and I'm just being transparent, is the people that you love the most because you're strong. They don't think you're sick. Um, they carry on like you're well. They carry on like, oh, she all right, not knowing that I can't tie my shoe. I literally can't put, you know how you stand up and put your pants on? I have to lean on something and ease one leg in at a time. Um, the left leg is fine, but the right leg, if I want to tie my shoe, I have to bend down and pull it up instead of crossing my leg and tying it like you tie it. Um, and because I'm a strong person, I don't talk a lot about it, but I'm learning to because stress is the worst enemy to lupus. And I'm like, so you want me to talk to people that I don't trust, that see me as faking, that see me as she can't be that sick? Lord, are you sure?
I get the same thing. Like even with Bell's palsy, like people will look at me and be like, "Oh, you don't look like anything's wrong because you're not in my body.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel what I feel."
Mm-hmm.
I will say that even in knowing the things that you're going through or have gone through, the amount of strength that you show whenever you're on the front row on a Sunday, the volume of your voice. I know if no one
Everybody
else is
say
in the
that.
church, I can be in the
I
office
get that all the
watching
time.
y'all on YouTube. I will know
That's
if
me.
you're in the house. And for that strength and the ability
Everybody
to
say
push
that.
past, because I'm pretty sure a lot of times whenever you're sitting in church, you're in pain.
I am.
But because of the strength that you have to push past it to still live, and me just finding out you working with your son, and just seeing
Ministry.
that bun, and knowing how the husband is on the road working, and like I admire that, and I just encourage you, just keep on living.
Oh yeah, and I had to. One thing I learned in therapy is I had to name my triggers correctly.
Yeah.
So I that's my focus right now because trust me, it's not easy. And my faith is what has carried me.
Yeah.
A lot of times I get calls, "Don't you come to church? Don't you even?" But sometimes just getting here, so I can
Yes.
for that moment. And a lot of people take it for granted. A lot of people think it's fake, but for that moment, when the Holy Ghost hit, and I know we got 2 minutes. When the Holy Ghost hit, I don't feel no pain for that moment.
No.
While I'm shouting, I don't feel no pain. Today, no, I was cute.
Y'all, she was real cute. Face was
But
beat
now,
to death.
I mean, face not beat no more.
You cried them
Eyelashes
eyelashes off.
somewhere. I don't even know where they at. The Urshers could have picked them up and gave them to me or something. Now.
I looked at you during service. I was like, she ain't gonna make it to this
I was not.
podcast
I
because
was
don't,
not.
you was over.
I didn't think I was gonna make it either, and that was the enemy. I kept saying, it kept whispering to me all these reasons why not to do it, and that's why I know that it's a purpose for me getting back on the
Yeah.
air with in the spotlight with Lady T, and I can end it right here is because I'm not on it for people to see me. I want to get back on the air to bring awareness to mental health, to financial literacy, to health. Health is wealth. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not healthy and all of that money is being spent on keeping you alive, it's not worth it. So these are the things that I'm passionate about our youth. This tax season, I'm begging you guys, whether it's me or another tax firm, get you a tax firm that cares about people and don't mind doing due diligence with you and telling you what you truly qualify for and helping you make decisions and how to go back and adjust your W 2s and your W 4s and your 1099s. And I'll leave it with that.